Good morning. Glad you could join us. So today we're going to talk about King David a little bit, and we're going to talk about tennis a little bit, and we're going to talk about Jesus a whole bunch, about God. So in 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 20, David in a prayer says this: "What more can I say to you? You know what your servant is really like, Sovereign Lord." How about that? God knows exactly what we're like. Have you ever thought about running for office? The process, if you're going to run for office, the things they're going to dig up. Now, for most of us, they're not going to find it on Facebook. Well, at least those people my age. Sometimes younger people put things out there. It's like, no, don't put that on Facebook. But there's probably each and every one of us that there's some sort of skeleton that could be rattled and we'd be like, oh. I remember taking a history course and Dr. Barton back in college, and he would say that LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, President of the United States, he had this way of talking about photographs that he had in his pocket, and he would have senators and congressmen in there, and he'd talk about the photographs in his pocket, and that they didn't want those photographs to get out. And it was just amazing. He could persuade people any way he wanted with that. There's nothing that God doesn't know about you. And that's what David's saying here. You know everything about me. You know the best, you know the worst. And he loves you. Now, I believe that there's better days ahead for us. See, not only does God know the best about us, he knows the worst, but he also knows that sometimes we give our absolute best and the result isn't what we wanted it to be. And other people might judge us for it, but God doesn't. And other times we might do something we really succeed at something. Except the only person that notices is God. And that's okay too. But aren't there some things you would like to change in your life? So let me tell you a little story about myself. When I was about 12 years old, I went to my cousin's house, and my aunt and uncle, Aunt Lola, Uncle Donald, and they played tennis. And so they gave me a racket. I started playing tennis. I came home, my brother started playing, my mom did, my dad, the four of us. Seems crazy now. It was like Leave It to Beaver or something. The four of us would play tennis together sometimes. And I got pretty good at tennis. But there's one part of my game that always stunk. I couldn't serve. At 6'4", you got the right angle. But if you know anything about tennis, you can have a hard serve, but it's got to go in. If it hits the net, not any good. And so for 50 years I've been playing the game. And in the last 2 months, I've developed what I call the new serve. It's not the hardest, but it's like 30%, 40% harder than my old serve. And then the little soft serve that I have, it's much more effective. And so something has happened 3 times in the last 12 days against different people. I took the ball, I served it. I got the ball back, I served 4 serves, 4 points, 1 game won. I only hit the ball 4 times. That meant they were all service winners or aces. An ace means they didn't touch it. A service winner means they touched it, but they couldn't put it in play. I did it one night, 2 nights later, and I did it last night. I'm looking at him, who am I? Now, God knew that I had it in me all along. I wish he would have clued me in on this a little bit earlier. But I just I don't know, I just didn't do it. But my point is that if an old dog can learn a new trick with that, how about you? What's the new trick you would like to learn? Is there a habit you'd like to see broken in your life? If I can have that serve, my goodness, I said to a friend of mine today, it's like finding a golf club that all of a sudden you can hit this shot you never, ever could dream of hitting before. God is not done with you. He sees the very best in you. He knows the worst about you. He loves you. And he knew all of it all along. And he knows your story is going to end well. God bless you. Have a great day.